Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Ben with KCT, aka Ryan Benolds. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at fixing your 22 conversion mags from Cmmg. Guys, you're going to like what we do. Just like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your favorite conversion kit is or your favorite 22 upper or dedicated rifle in the comment section below. Let's start a little conversation there. So, there will be a couple things that I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not going to do in this video. I have had some videos taken down by YouTube because I showed loading a magazine and actually putting the bullets in there. YouTube did not like that. I will also not be actually doing the work to repair it on camera because YouTube also will say, oh, you're modifying a firearm, you're modifying a whatever. I'm not modifying anything, I'm fixing a problem. But in today's climate, we live in clown world, so I'm not going to go into all that. But I will show you all you need to do, and it's dummy simple. So we'll go ahead and get into it. So what will happen is, over time, your magazines from your 22 conversion kit, if they're polymer, can often swell. And it's kind of weird to think of polymer swelling, but I mean, these are probably 10 years old, and they just will bind up. The follower will bind up about halfway through the magazine, so right around down here, and will refuse to feed the remaining bullets. So what will happen is it'll lock up, and then you can basically just dump the rounds out of the top, and it sucks because your gun is pretty much useless at that point in time, and your training is now into malfunctions clearing. And since this doesn't really replicate any malfunctions that you can do with a 5.56, you're kind of shit out of luck for that. So there's a couple things you can do. Number one is these little screw holes here. Sometimes what will happen is they'll be a little bit too tight. You can actually go in there, so you'll Allen wrench in there, and loosen them up. And so what will happen is you'll load this up with some rounds, and you'll feel it start to bind, and you can kind of go through the magazine body. There's 6 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can kind of go through there and loosen them up where you feel the magazine is binding. Again, the polymer is just kind of swelling, and it's not as tight as it used to be or should be. Similarly, you don't want to have, I'll show you this here. There we go. You don't want a big crack that's forming here. You'll get it. You see how far that follower is sticking up now? That's way too far. That's probably going to want to pop out. So we'll go ahead and push that back down. Tighten that up there. There we go. So much better. So you can definitely go ahead and tighten that down, loosen it up, do whatever you need to do. I did at one point spray some lube into the interior of the magazine. What that caused the magazine to do was the spring bound up more inside because it started kind of sliding past itself during the round stack process. And it was basically just a big pain in the ass and it didn't really fix anything. So if this doesn't work to kind of tighten or loosen the tolerances on the magazine, the other option we have is surgery. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and remove the floor plate from the magazine, and what we'll do is make sure we capture the base of the follower and spring there, because that will want to pop right out. So what I'm going to do is remove this whole thing, check, make sure that there's no bends or kinks in the spring, which there isn't, and pull this off. And what I want to do is sand, take some sandpaper and sand down here and down here, and then this circular kind of drum shaped area, and then same thing on this side, and you can kind of see that's already been done there. And what that does is those are the main points of contact that the follower will ride in the channel of the magazine. And you can see here that the channel is shaped just like the follower, and you can go ahead and take the follower, drop that in there. So what we're looking for is almost no contact between the follower and the walls of the magazine, because that's where the problem is that the magazines will start to swell, the follower will probably start to swell. And again, I mean, I've seen this, yes, no, it's a thing, it's not a thing. These magazines are old as fuck, and I don't want to go out and buy new ones for $25 a pop. So by sanding this down, I'm basically just reducing the clearances and loosening the tolerances, so that this flows more freely through the magazine body. So what we want to do at the end is be able to kind of hot dog down the hallway, kind of a your mother type thing, and just let that go ahead and drop in there and pop back out without really hearing any friction in the magazine body. So that's pretty much where we want to be at. What I would recommend doing is doing this process slowly and incrementally. I did this over, I think, 6 mags today. And originally I just kind of did this part here, and then up front there, and then this part here. But realistically, this part also, and we'll show you inside the magazine body here. As you can see, where that part would be is catching up against the feed lips there. And so you don't want to sand it down too far, because this whole thing will pop right out. But at the same time, you want to get it so that you're not really getting any contact. It shouldn't be rubbing up against the inside of the magazine, basically. So once you have it that you feel is a good spot, go ahead, replace that back on the follower spring. Go ahead and reinsert. And so with this, boing, well, you want to make sure that you are not getting the string to sort of pop out and move into that space there. It may be advantageous if you have some worn out magazines to stick an Allen wrench in there, so you push that down without worrying about it kind of popping out. Once it's down in there, go ahead and take your base plate, slide it on in, and basically what I'll do is pop that in there, and you're good to go. And so now you're always going to have a little bit of catch up at the very top. You push down and it kind of has to like clear that little lip. That's not a big problem. Again, the problem is with it binding on the inside. So what will happen is you want to take the magazine and load it to the full capacity, which is on these 25 rounds. And so if you start to get it binding up in the middle halfway through, what I would do is make sure that these screws are adjusted so that you're not overly putting extra pressure on the magazine body. Because you'll sit there, and as you loosen these things up, you'll hear that like click of the magazine follower moving through the body with the round stack. So that will let you know kind of that the body is too tight and needs to be loosened up a little bit, like you do. And if you are going there and you're trying to get all 25 rounds in and you're noticing it's binding and you're not getting anything from loosening up the mag body, go ahead and stop, eject the rounds, pull this back out, and give it another sanding down. And so when I talk about sanding down, again, I'm not going to do the whole thing here on camera because YouTube. Well, I'll show you. What you kind of want to do here is just take it nice and flat, rub it on your sandpaper, kind of roll it over so you're getting the front of this little drum area here. And then do the other side, and then make sure that you're getting specifically the back end here and getting that taken care of. You also kind of want to make sure that these corners don't look all kitty wampus and janky. So, just by YouTube, making sure that those are shaved down and not sort of popping out, because what you do is you get kind of like plastic fuzz going on there, and you want to make sure that you remove that, because that is another thing that will kind of bind up the magazine. So make sure it's nice and clean. What I typically do, take Sweet Purple Cup, drop it in there, wipe off all the extra fuzz and the powder that has been sanded down. Go ahead, dry it off. Make sure it's reasonably dry there. And then once you feel that you're good to go again, and again, I would do this in stages. Once you get the hang of it, like I said, I did about 6 mags today. Once you get the hang of it, you kind of know where you need to sand it down to, and you just kind of fine tune it. But especially the first few times, it's very easy to take off too much material, and you can't really put that back once it is gone. So make sure you kind of do it in stages, do it incrementally, as they would say, and you'll have a much better time than trying to take off a whole shit ton of material all at once and then regret it because now the follower does not fit. So go ahead and push that back in there. Pop that in there. Should be good to go. So if you have a conversion kit, whether it's the Cmmg, the Black Dog, the Scener, whatever that is, if you are getting kind of hang-ups with a round stack in the magazine, this is a good thing to do, is make sure that your screws that hold the magazine body together are not holding it too tightly or too loosely. If you hold too tightly, there's a song about it. Go listen to that, it's much better. And then making sure that you go ahead and shave out that follower there. I did take these apart and kind of clean the inside with a brush. There is a lot of crap that's in there. The 22 is a dirty round, so you do have a lot of shit that blows back into the magazine body, and that is probably one of the things that will spine up the follower. So make sure you're cleaning your magazines out. I, again, would not put lube in them because that just causes the spring to just creep past itself and start binding. This is kind of the way to go. So we will be running some rounds through that very soon, and we'll see kind of how that works out. Again, we'll just go ahead and set this thing back up for success with a little mag pull there. And we are good to go. Guys, it's not super complicated. I can't really keep talking about it all night. Other than that, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for checking out the channel. See you.